are these podcasts? WATP.
Our friend Brendan Schaub, this just dropped, that there is potentially a civil lawsuit coming his way. Now, Brendan Schaub from The Fighter and the Kid, a guy that we've covered many times from The Golden Hour, and he does his own The Schaub Show, and he's all over the place. He tried to do stand-up, and that didn't really work out too well for him, so he had to pretend he was retiring from stand-up, which is not something that successful stand-ups ever do.
Well, stand-ups with children retire.
Yes, he had to do it because his kid's playing baseball. And he has to yell at the umpire and get thrown out of the game. So Brendan Schaub also sued a fellow podcast review show called Unique Entertainment, formerly Scion Z. And that failed miserably. That got thrown out of court because of fair use, which is, by the way, a landmark case for people like us. If that had gone a different way, I don't know that we'd still be doing Who Are These Podcasts, or that any of these shows would be doing what they do. But
Are you saying it could have been you, Carl?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that was an amazing judgment that actually has cleared it so that we won't have to deal with any of those frivolous lawsuits because now there's precedent set.
Thank you, Brendan Schaub.
Thank you, Brendan Schaub. Thank you for wasting your money and humiliating yourself.
He finally does something.
Right.
Did he spend a lot of money on this suit, too? Because he spent $1 million suing somebody.
Oh, that probably is it, yeah.
Wow.
So now someone's suing him, and Podcast Cringe just put out a video that kind of breaks this all down. I want to start off with some of the background on this, but I know Drew's been looking at this a little bit, and I've been checking it out, so this is probably a good place to start.
And this latest one isn't about the so-called Reddit trolls. It's not about podcast bots. It's not even about his failing podcasting empire. This time, Brendan Schaub is knee-deep in a civil lawsuit out of Palm Beach County, Florida, with allegations so ridiculous, so on brand, that even the Fighter and the Kid subreddit couldn't have dreamed this one up. We're talking tax fraud, wire fraud, civil theft, conspiracy, and brace yourself, you guys are gonna fucking love this one. Allegedly using a CBD company's private customer database to spam strangers with promos for his failing comedy special at the time.
This lawsuit is crazy, and what I love is that the guy who's suing Brendan Schaub is leaking all this stuff, like private communication, which we'll get to in a little bit. But this seems like a pretty big deal. I don't know. I mean, it's brand new. I don't know if Brendan Schaub, I don't know what he knows about it yet. I don't think he's even been served yet.
I cannot believe how much money changed hands in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Schaub, he was on top of the world 6-7 years ago. He really was.
Yeah. Yeah, that the Joe Rogan effect worked for him better than most people.
That's right. You buy CBD oil to help your anxiety, and next thing you know, Brendan Schaub's in your inbox begging you to watch Gringo Puppy. That's not just poor marketing, that's psychological warfare.
So the CBD company had no knowledge that he was using it?
Oh, no. They were...
Am I misunderstanding
Okay,
this?
so he was actually a partner. He became a partner at the company because they went to him to have him endorse the product. And the way they got him to come on board is they gave him 10% of the company.
Ah, okay. And then by his access of that, that's how he got the mailing list.
Yeah, he must have accessed the mailing list.
Had to have, yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I'll show you how that went down because he actually
That's fascinating.
was texting with the CEO of the company. Maybe we should go there first, actually, not since we're talking about it. Because this is on the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. This has leaked out of what the text conversation was between these two guys. And it's going to be small, but I'll try to. I'm not going to be able to read this. Let's see.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, so.
God, I was trying to read print like this the other day. It was not good.
He says, "Hey, boss, you're definitely one of the smarter people I know, so I'm reaching out to you." This is Brendan reaching out to this guy. "Please keep this between us." Whoops. "So, with my special coming out, brings out a new reason for haters to jump on me. Well, it's been brought to my attention these idiots created a campaign to shit on the special and are creating fake accounts and leaving awful reviews and one-star reviews on my IMDb. I spoke with IMDb and they said the same thing happened to Amy Schumer and Kevin Hart." That's why people don't like Amy Schumer, because of bots and fake accounts. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. "Only way to combat this is by having positive reviews and rankings. We can't shut this smear campaign down, even though it's just on IMDb, but still, I hate feeling like these fucking schmucks are winning.
Did the guy respond by, and hear me out on this, by, hey, be more funny? Like, just be a better comedian? And
Actually, Mark, the way he responded was, good morning, Brendan. Thank you for reaching out and trusting me. First off, you're on the top of the very high mountain, and all sheeple below will always be yelling up at who's on top. Let me develop a strategy and plan, and while I'm finishing this leg workout. Wait.
What?
It's leg day.
Oh, God.
While I'm finishing this leg workout. In other words, can this wait? I'm busy right now. Is it okay to call you to discuss what time? And Brendan says,
I love that he's trying to make Brendan feel enough, by the way, by telling him he's on top of kissing his ass. Jeez.
So Brendan responds, yes, sir. I'm going to go on a long run around 8 a.m. Won't have service. So he has to be like, oh, you're doing leg day? Guess what I'm doing? Cardio. Yeah. Okay, whatever, man. Won't have service where I'm running. So can we talk after 11? Perfect. Call me when you're free. We will correct this. I got you, brother. We will put together a 5-star ranking ninja team together.
Wow.
And he writes, yeah, it's embarrassing to even confess. It affects me. I couldn't sleep. Oh, he doesn't want this getting out.
Wow, he can sleep after doing that shitty special, but he can't sleep over the campaign.
He can sleep with his family hating his guts.
Figured you'd have an idea and not judge me. Weird position to be in. My other friends who are in comedy or TV just say don't pay attention to any of it. And by the way, I've seen Joe Rogan tell him this specifically. Yeah. Joe Rogan's like, I don't read the comments. Just don't read the comments. It's that easy.
It doesn't exist if you don't read it. Yeah.
Right. He says, which I understand, but when it's a smear campaign against something I worked my ass off for, and it's a good product, the competitive side comes out. This guy's not learned anything. He thinks that Gringo Poppy is a good product, and people don't like it because they were told to. It's crazy.
Wow.
All right, so this lawsuit gets more nuts. I'll let Podcast Cringe continue to explain it.
World-class self-sabotage. After getting his 10% stake in Pure Spectrum, Brendan allegedly does what Brendan does best. Absolutely fuck all. The lawsuit spells it out clear as day. Brendan missed every single required social media post. For those keeping score at home, that's 88 out of 88 missed posts. He skipped promotional events. He failed to honor his contractual obligations.
So it says right here, he agreed to post 5 Instagram stories per month. It's like 1 a week.
Yeah.
That's so easy.
So
How
easy.
could you fuck that part up?
And he's part owner. So it's like you want this
to
thing
his
to
benefit,
succeed.
yeah.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. How lazy are you?
Meanwhile, get this, he still managed to collect over 370 grand in commissions from Pure Spectrum. That's right, Brendan allegedly pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars while doing less promo than Chin does research for The Fighter and the Kid. And honestly, that's impressive in its own way. But like every good bupper scandal, things get dumber. Because as Gringo Puppy started tanking harder than his Spotify download numbers, Brendan allegedly decided to get creative. And by creative, I mean desperate. This lawsuit contains possibly the funniest sentence I've ever read in a legal filing. On multiple occasions in 2019 and 2020, Mr. Schaub solicited plaintiff to send mass emails using Pure Spectrum's customer database to promote defendants' unrelated comedy specials to help boost poor ratings on Showtime and IMDb. Let that sink in for a second. People are signing up to Pure Spectrum's mailing list because they want CBD products. They're dealing with anxiety, pain, sleeplessness, and Brendan allegedly tries to hijack the database to spam them with ads for Gringo Puppy. And
Now, as we saw in that text conversation, it sounds like maybe the owner, that was his idea. He's trying to please this guy. They're partners. He wants him on board because he's just like, man, what can I do? Which, by the way, is a crazy question to ask this guy. He's not his publicist. He's not his manager, his agent. He's just a business partner. Like, hey, man, you're smart.
Yeah, why go to that guy?
Yeah, it's not his problem.
It's not his problem at all. Well, I
But
guess,
our customers are in a bad way, so maybe they'll think you're funny.
yes.
They need help if they need help sleeping, right? Check out his special. But what that guy did say was they're going to make an army of bots or whatever for positive to combat it, put positive results out. This is his way of going, okay, I'll just use the mailing list.
Is it
Yes.
possible that this CBD guy, because he just owns a CBD company or is part owner, that he thinks Brendan is a star and he's sort of simping to Schaub?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
And why else would he want to promote the product?
I mean, I guess he was that big at that. Was he that big at that time?
Oh, yeah. This is the
How did
peak
that
for
happen?
him. Like 2018, 2019, Fighter and the Kid was still popular. The subreddit hadn't completely turned on them yet. So it was actually advantageous to have Brendan Schaub on your side.
So it took America like 5-6 years to figure out this show sucked.
You know what else?
That's weird.
You know what else sucked about the text message exchange in there is that Brendan thinks he earned that and worked his ass off for it.
Yeah.
He was an MMA fighter that Joe Rogan had on his show and thought he hadn't gotten hit in the head too many times so he could actually carry a conversation. And then he got a Showtime deal before he ever worked clubs and open mics and all the stuff you have to do to get to where you need to be. And he considered that working his ass off.
I mean, other comedians must have been so delighted when that thing bombed.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine. But this is a guy who knows how to work his ass off, too. Like, to get into the UFC is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, he played football too, college football.
Yeah. And baseball.
What position? Was he any good?
He was a tight end. I'm not sure. I don't think he played a ton I don't think he had big numbers in college or anything. He's a good athlete, obviously.
All right, well, this gets even worse.
We did 3 commercials.
So after Brendan's failed attempts to boost his comedy career by misusing a CBD company's customer list like his own personal email chain, things finally came to a head. By late 2020, even Brendan, the undisputed king of denial, couldn't ignore the writing on the wall. The lawsuit claims that after months of skipped promos, failed appearances, and illegal marketing tactics, Brendan finally agrees to part ways with Pure Spectrum, but not before allegedly pocketing nearly $400,000 for doing, quite literally, less than nothing. The terms of the deal were pretty straightforward. Brandon signs a dissolution agreement giving up his entire 10% stake in Pure Spectrum. He agrees to a 12-month non-compete, meaning he can't promote or partner with any rival CBD company during that time. Everyone walks away with less brain cells than when they started. Simple, right? But this is Bupper we're talking about. If there's one thing Brendan loves more than abusing PEDs, it's violating contracts he never fully understood in the first place. Because not even 2 months after signing the non-compete, Brendan allegedly turns around and starts publicly promoting Direct Hemp, a competitor of Pure Spectrum.
What a dummy.
What unbelievable.
And he's made, at this point, $770,000.
Wow. So that's why he did that. He's like, well, I bet I can get hundreds of thousands out of this company, too.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Is this a bit? I'm not familiar with this company. Are they a huge company? They must be.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean,
I'm
there's
not
so many
familiar.
CBD companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they give him
familiar
$400,000 on the way out,
Well, they must be doing well then, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Or they just really wanted him out of the company. Like, I've definitely paid too much to get people out of my company before.
But he won't make one social media post out of 88. He's missing events. Why would, I mean, it just seems like they must have been making a lot of money. Tons.
Yeah, that's bad.
They wanted that 10% bad.
Yeah, that's probably true. So, all right, it gets even worse.
Entirely. All for a cool $100K, which in Brandon's world would cover Chin's salary for the next 4 years. But don't worry.
I love the shots this guy takes at Chin, the producer of The Fighter and the Kid.
If you're interested in
Golden
comedy
Hour.
podcasts and critiques, Podcast Cringe is stellar. It's
great.
Really good.
Well written.
Stupidity doesn't end there. You'd think after pocketing a questionable $100,000 for allegedly faking ownership documents, Brendan Schaub would ride off into the sunset, maybe retreat to another failing YouTube channel, or finally invest in a real studio that doesn't double up as a car park. But no, when Bupper fumbles, he fumbles hard. The lawsuit claims that after helping boot Brady Bell from his own company, Brandon kept the scam going with some classic paper trail manipulation. We're talking allegedly filing false tax returns, using a fraudulent Schedule K1 form to pretend he still had partnership income from Pure Spectrum, and participating in what the lawsuit calls a civil conspiracy designed to defraud the IRS and Brady Bell simultaneously. I mean, the man's so addicted to fake numbers, he allegedly tried to bot his own tax filings. And look, this isn't just, oops, I forgot to declare a podcast ad. We're talking potential felony level allegations. Wire fraud, tax fraud, civil theft, fraudulent misrepresentation, conspiracy to commit tax-related crimes. The lawsuit doesn't pull punches. It paints Brandon as a textbook scammer, hiding behind his MMA background, influencer persona, and ever so fragile ego to cover up for his incompetence.
I mean, unless your name is Hunter Biden, I don't think you can get away with that kind of stuff. I think that's frowned
No, I
upon.
mean, that sounds like prison time, doesn't it?
It does. Now, obviously, this is just a civil lawsuit, so it's not as if.
Oh, civil. Okay.
He'll respond too. That'll be the great part. He'll be deposed.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Like, will the IRS pick up on this now that it's out in the news?
It
Oh,
happens.
you bet your ass they will.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't want to embarrass the IRS and make it seem like it's easy to cheat on your
I
taxes.
doubt he'll get prison time, but he'll get some pretty heavy fines levied against him with interest.
Oh man.
He'll be on all apologies soon.
Yes. So,
Wow.
Drew, I know I saw you upstairs writing down some notes. Like, what did I miss, or what haven't we talked about in this? This is a wild case.
Well, one of the things I thought was really funny was he showed clips of, people going like, yeah, I've got this shooting pain in my asshole. And he's like, oh, you got to try CBDs. I got this CBD. I got just the answer for you. And then he claims it cured his kids' epileptic
right.
seizures.
Yes, like
I mean,
CBD does everything. It's
anyone
amazing.
mentions a malady and he's like, oh, I got it for you. These CBDs will cure it. I mean, it's just like snake oil.
Although I don't use CBD, my mom does, and she swears by it. But like for
I'm sure they do help.
joint pain and stuff.
Yeah, if it
certain
works,
things,
it works, right? Yeah, but I mean,
She
can you
doesn't
make
have
those?
seizures, if that's what you thought I
Can you
meant.
make those claims? I don't know. People make those claims all the time for whatever they're selling.
Yeah, I just don't know if I would jump up when somebody mentions some new malady and say, "Oh, CBDs," and just so happens that he owns a CBD, 10% of a CBD
10% of the company.
And
yeah.
watch my special.
You know what'll help epilepsy? Watch my special.
Carl, you know what you didn't mention was that after he got the $400,000 for getting rid of his last 10%, even though he didn't fulfill the contract at all, somebody was trying to take over the company, and they came to him, I guess, thinking he still owned his 10%, and he made another $100,000, claiming that he was giving up his part to them.
Right.
Yeah, like he sold it twice.
Like, why would you think he'd get away with that? Just because
I have no idea.
because $100,000 isn't a lot to these people, and they're just like, okay, whatever, it's not worth the headache.
But he didn't own any of it. They didn't need to. It's bizarre. I mean, I don't know. Is it true? We'll find out, I guess.
We will find out, but that is pretty crazy stuff. And Brendan Schaub, man, for a guy who just has zero talent, you can't believe he's also a fraudster and a shyster and maybe a tax cheat.
And a dullard.
He's got it all, actually, now that I think about it.
How long will he be in Austin?
Oh. That's a great question. So you probably heard on WATP, I broke some hot goss where Brian Redban was saying that both Brendan and his wife are miserable in Austin. They seemed like they did zero research. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. They bought a big house, moved to Austin at the exact time that no one wants to be there because it's 110 degrees every day. And they're just realizing that there's scorpions and tarantulas and bugs and lots of crazy shit that can kill you.
Well, you have a podcast.
You probably should have researched this.
You have a podcast that's making no money in Los Angeles, and you're going to move it to Austin, a podcast that makes no money? I mean, and your producers are moving too? I mean, that podcast should be losing money, I would think.
And also, Drew, he left the Golden Hour to just be on The Fighter and the Kid and the Schaub Show. From you heard Podcast Crunch talk about it. He rented out this giant bunker that's not a good studio. It's just a big open space for cars.
Trains go by as
Trains
well. There's
go
a lot of noise.
Yeah, it's hot as fuck.
Oh, and
Got a lot
the
of
air
echo.
conditioning, Mark, the air conditioning is so loud that every guest who comes on goes, oh, what's that? It's like, whoa, this is too much. What's happening right now?
Yeah, the lights go out in the middle of the show. It's just colossally horrible. I don't understand why those producers moved down there. And then he's bitching, why haven't you found a place yet?
Well, he probably lied to him, sold him a bill of goods.
Yeah, poor Chin. Both Chin and Brendan, they don't know what else to do. They're just, we got to keep this Fighter and the Kid thing going. We got to keep doing it.
They should start their own podcast ripping him.
Yes.
Coming soon.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll team up with that
people
shit.
have done that.
Yeah, they're going to be at our show.
No,
The second he's done.
Mark Harley left the show, and he's doing a podcast. I think is more
true.
successful than the Fighting the Kid.
That is true.
It's
Yes.
gonna burn his ass, Schaub's ass.
Who are these podcasts? WA